Is up, people? It's been a while since I did a live stream, a few months actually. So glad to hop on here live with you guys. Thank you to everybody that is tuning in live and those who are tuning in or watching after the fact. As always, let's have fun, let's be kind to one another, and let's keep it G-rated. All right, so yeah, it's been a while. So I think the last time I did a live stream was December. But there's a reason for that. Like a bunch of stuff happened. So let's see, January, I think the first week of January or the second week. Let me put this on mute. I believe it was the first or second week in January, CES happened in Las Vegas. So I didn't go to CES in 2023. First time was in 20. No, I'm sorry. First time I went was in 2023. I didn't go in 2024, and then I decided to go this year. Pretty much, I really only decided to go because of my friends at Hisense. They invited me to come film the booth and everything. So, have a good relationship with them. Caught up with some other people, but yeah. So, yeah, first week of January was CES, and then I had some very good family friends. They're basically family. I've known them, my whole life, going back to my dad. My dad grew up with his best friend, their kids. So one of their kids had a wedding, and that was January 11th. And then my buddy got married on February 1st. I was his best man. So we were doing a bunch of stuff leading up to that February 1st. So it was really busy, and I was like, you know what? It's too busy. I don't have time to try to, hop on a live and all that stuff. And then February was pretty busy too. We got a bunch of stuff in. But yeah, so now it is March. So got some stuff I wanted to talk about. I guess talk about some movie news. Could start with that. Superman trailer. I may have covered this in December, but yeah, so this summer is looking to be pretty exciting. We've got Superman and Fantastic Four in July, and I believe Thunderbolts is next month. So I'm like one of the biggest Superman fans on the planet. Superman is my absolute favorite superhero by far. It's not even close. A lot of people were saying that the Superman trailer was like perfect. I didn't think it was. I mean, I don't think it was bad. I'm still excited to see Superman. I'm still kind of holding out judgment just because I didn't think the trailer was that good. It was okay. I'm glad we got to see a little bit more, but I need to see more. And Henry Cavill is probably always going to be my favorite Superman. I don't think this guy is going to beat him, but I am excited about it. We haven't had a Superman in years. James Gunn, is very good with source material. He likes to keep things pretty much, a lot of things canon. I think he's going to do the character right. He's saying that we're going to see a different Superman that we've never seen before in the comics, so, or at least in movies, so I'm excited about that. Let's see. Fantastic Four, we got a trailer for that, so that should be exciting. I'm getting more excited about that one. Still don't know what the plot is, but me personally, I didn't really have a problem with the last Fantastic Four. I mean, they completely messed up Doctor Doom. Like, they jacked that up. The movie overall, and other than that, they made Storm and Sue, like, not from the same family. That was weird. But for the most part, I enjoyed the movie. I didn't think it was that bad. I'm getting excited about it though, so I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with it. Hopefully, this is better than most of the recent Marvel movies that have been coming out because they've been really janky, which we're gonna talk about because I did see Captain America: Brave New World, and I haven't talked about that yet online. And then Thunderbolts. So I'm actually getting more excited about Thunderbolts. When I first heard that it was announced, I was like, I don't really care about that. Like, I love Bucky as a character. I want to see like legit Bucky, not this like. I mean, I'm glad that he's reformed. He's not being controlled, but I want to see more of like Bucky. So most of the other characters I don't really care about. I don't care about Black Widow. Red Guardian's cool. He's funny. I don't really care about him too much. Ghost, I don't really care about. But I mean, the movie looks like it'll be decent. So as long as it's a good movie and it's a good watch, then that's fine with me. But let's talk about Captain America: Brave New World, because that is a mixed bag of a movie. So just FYI, there's going to be spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, skip over this. I don't have like a little spoiler button to put up, but if you hadn't seen it, there is going to be spoilers. So I wasn't excited about this movie at all. Like from the time that they announced it, like I just don't see. I'm gonna call him Falcon because I don't like calling him Captain America because it's weird. But what is his name? Is it Sam? I don't remember anymore. But I was never a big fan of him being Captain America. To me, I think Bucky should be Captain America because he is actually a super soldier. And yeah, Marvel did what they did, whatever. I wasn't very excited about this movie, but I'm like, hey, I have AMC, AMC A-List, I believe it's called. I switched over to AMC this year from Regal Unlimited, which is great, by the way. I think AMC A-List is the best movie subscription out there. Especially after having used Regal Unlimited for a year. But I was like, I have, AMC A-List. I'll go see it. I was thinking about just waiting and watching it until it came out on, Kaleidescape or Blu-ray or whatever. But I was like, I'll go watch it. And I wasn't excited about it at all. They did like a bunch of reshoots. I think they originally shot like an entire movie and completely scrapped it and went back, basically shot a whole nother movie. And then they did reshoots after that. So I wasn't excited. I was like, man, this looks like it's going to bomb. It's not getting good reviews at all. The test screenings that they did, both of them for the first movie were bad. They went in, added some characters, again, pretty much rewrote the whole movie. They did test screenings for that. That didn't get good reviews. So I was like, yeah, this is probably not going to be that good. So I went into it with very, very, very low expectations. And as I was watching it, I guess because, I don't know what's going to happen. My brain doesn't have enough time to process everything. I was like, okay, it's not a good movie, but it's not that bad. Like, it's not as bad as everybody said that it was. And then afterwards, I finished watching the movie, and then I started talking about the movie with Shane Lee, and we started going back and forth, and I was like, you know what? That was a bad movie. Like, that was very bad. Like, there's just all kinds of stuff that the writing was bad, the dialogue was bad. The dialogue wasn't the worst, but the writing was bad. They completely messed up the leader. I don't know if you've ever, and I'm not like very familiar with the comics, just from what I've seen on like movies and stuff, and from the images that I've seen. The way that the leader looked, they completely messed him up. Like, I don't know if they were trying to go more realistic because it looked too cartoony to have the leader. The leader's got like this super elongated head. And for those of you that don't know, in The Incredible Hulk, the Mr. Blue, the one who was communicating with Edward Norton, and they were communicating back and forth. Edward Norton was Mr. Green and he was Mr. Blue. He, at the end of the movie, some of Hulk's blood like landed on his head, and you see his head starting to get a little bit bubbly or whatever. But in the comics, that made him like super, 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 super smart, and like he can like see stuff before it's going to happen from like calculations and all kinds of stuff. But in the movie, they made him look really weird. Like his head was just deformed. It just didn't look right. It looked corny. And they spent like all this time of not showing him, like him walking around, hiding in the shadows. And then when they finally reveal him, and when he comes out and you see what he looks like, I was like, oh man, what is this? This looks whack. And then he was supposed to be like this super smart, like, I see, he's basically playing chess with everybody. Like, I can see all these different moves before they happen. I know what you're going to do before you do it. But then throughout the whole movie, Sam Wilson, he like ends up thwarting all of his plans every time. So I'm like, this guy isn't really that smart then if, Sam Wilson keeps, defeating him. So that was kind of whack. But for me, the biggest thing, it was like cringe worthy, but also like laughable, is they have this chick that is President Ross's like right hand Secret Service, like his number one, and it's this chick. She's like 5 feet tall, maybe, like for real. She's like 5 feet tall in the movie, and she's also this. She comes from like the Red Room, so like with Black Widow, like she was brainwashed, but she's supposed to be like this super, she can fight, she can do all this stuff, but she's 5 feet. So when they first introduced her, I'm like, huh, okay, that's his number one social, your Secret Service. She's really small. I'm like, whatever, maybe she's just intelligence, and she relays information to him. And then they show Sam Wilson, because Sam Wilson runs into her, and then he's like, I don't know who this chick is, and he tells the new Falcon, he tells him, he's like, hey, run a background check on her. And then later on, they're talking about her. He was like, oh man, this chick was a former Red Room. And Sam Wilson's like, oh, that means don't get in her way. Like, trust me, bro. Like, you don't want to mess with her. And I'm like, but she's like 5 feet. Like, how bad can she be? Like, I don't care how much training she's had. You're 5 feet tall, if that. And then later on in the movie, they show her, like, I think they showed a clip of it in the trailers. She's in a hallway fighting, and she's literally picking up Triple H sized dudes and throwing them across the room. And I'm like, what am I watching right now? Like, what is this? And there's other stuff. I mean, the Hulk scene, the Hulk fight scene at the end was super cool. Like, I really enjoyed that. But other than that, the movie was just kind of, the movie just wasn't a good movie. So I'll probably, I was deciding whether or not I was going to even pick it up and buy it, but I may pick it up just to have something else to watch, and hopefully the audio's good. Especially with if they do the audio good, the Hulk fight scene at the end is going to be awesome. But yeah, so that's pretty much a recap of I think what I saw. I saw The Last Breath. That one was pretty good. But yeah, so I have, if you've been watching the channel, I have the Trinov 16, Trinov Altitude 16 channel processor, and then I have the Trinov Amplitude 16 channel amplifier to pair with the Trinov. So that's really cool. I'm really enjoying that. I literally, about 30 minutes before this, I finished part 3 of the Trinov Altitude experience. So I'm talking about bass management. So that's pretty cool. That maybe we'll post tomorrow. But I wanted to do like a live, show you guys what the Trinov user interface looks like and some of the features. So let me go ahead and do this. Oops, no, that's too small. What is going on there? Okay, let me move this. Let's see. What's up, Ike? Good to see you, Ike. Okay, so this is the Trinov Altitude, their web GUI. So they do have an app. You aren't able to access the web GUI with the app, but the app has, like, you can do volume control, and then you can change like your codecs and stuff. But this is really cool, and I'm really enjoying the Trinov. I'm gonna have to find a way to purchase this at some point, because now, like, I still haven't had as much time with it, like to like demo stuff. I'm getting around to it, and I think I'm gonna have more time now that stuff from January and February is over. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to demo a bunch of content, but I have done some, and I've been watching a lot of TV shows. I've watched a couple of movies, and I'm loving what I'm hearing. Like, when I went from a receiver to the Anthem MRX 720, that was a big leap. And then when I went from the MRX, the Anthem, to the Emotiva RMC1, that was an even more noticeable. And I was like, can it really get better than this? Because the RMC1 sounds awesome. It's got some issues with the HDMI, but it sounds awesome. And when I hooked this up, and got it calibrated and start listening to stuff, I was like, man, this is even better. So the atmospherics on this thing is crazy. Like the sound bubble, there's more detail. I especially notice it. I mean, I notice a lot of stuff in detail, but I especially notice it when like there's scenes where people are sitting down and talking like off screen, like if they're in a dining area or they're outside. Like it sounds extremely immersive and more present. Like you hear stuff, like you hear the clanking of people, cutting their food, hitting the fork, hitting the plate. You hear the conversations. Like it's so enveloping. It's hard to describe, but it's super cool. Let's see. Wade, what's up, man? Wade says, I think the stream crashed. Not for me. I'm still live, and I'm looking at my tablet because I'm watching it on my tablet to make sure, and it's still going. So maybe that's on your end, but I think I'm still live. But thanks for tuning in. So yeah, so this is the. Let me see if I can make this bigger for me. This is the Trinov Altitude Web GUI. So you've got a bunch of stuff that you can go in here and do. So this is what, when you type in your IP address for the Trinov, this is what you'll see. So you've got volume control. So I can pull this up on my iPad. I can pull this up on my iPhone. Right now, this is on my Mac Studio. So I can pretty much pull this up anywhere on the house, in the house on the network. I typically will just pull it up on my iPad and use it, while I'm watching stuff. But you've got your information over here for your sources, HDMI 8 or 8 your HDMI, so it'll tell you what source you're on. It'll tell you whether it's being upmixed or not. I just have it on right now. Nothing's playing, so that's why the upmix says none. And then it'll tell you your output. This is the Trinov optimizer, so I can turn that on or off. And then if I hit info here, it'll tell me some other stuff. So I'm not going to really show you too much of that. But if I go over here, this is what's cool. So if you watch Shane Lee, you've probably seen this on his channel. When he does his movie reviews, I'll probably start including some of this into the movie reviews. But this is really cool. So, and I already did a video on this, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I just wanted to show you guys kind of, live since I'm here. But this is cool. Like if I go over here, I can select a bunch of different speaker layouts. So you've got Atmos you've got 5.1 and 7.1, and then you've got Atmos from 5.1.2 all the way up to a 9.1.4, and then obviously you can add more speakers. And then you've got RO3D, you've got DTSX. So, right now these are all my speakers here. And then like if I wanted to add a speaker, let's say I want to add wides or I want to add 2 sets of surrounds, I could go here, add a speaker, select from layout, and then I would go to, whatever layout I was using. So Atmos, go there, and then I would select the speaker, and then I can select whatever speaker. I mean, there's a tons of options in here. So I only have a 16 channel processor, so obviously, mine would be limited on what I could select. Actually, I'm maxed out right now. I think I have 7 bed layer speakers, 6 height channels, and then 3 subs. So I'm maxed out. Now, if I wanted to, I could expand it to 20 if I get like another DAC to power. There's a couple things that you can do to expand it to 20 because they give you that as a free update. But yeah, so that's cool. I'm not gonna save this, but let me see here. Let me refresh this. Go back over here. So to do monitoring, like if I was playing something right now, you would see all these speakers. They would light up. So meters. So if you click meters, or I'm sorry, monitoring meters, it'll show you if something was playing right now, based on the content and based on how it's mixed, these speakers would be lighting up to show you which speakers are are actually active. So I'm going to do, let's see here, dimension, no. So this is my configuration right now. So I've got my left, center, right, my surrounds, rear surrounds, and then my 6 heights, and then my 3 subs. So I need to check on this because I have 1 sub underneath the screen, and then the other 2 subs are actually behind me. So I don't know if this is just how it shows you the subs, or if it's supposed to show you the subs in your 3D space. But this isn't how my subs are. I have, like I said, I have one directly below the screen here, and then these 2, the 21 inch and the other 15 inch, are like behind me. So I don't know if that's just how it does it, but I need to check on that. But it's cool that you can see, like, in 3D space, I can go up or down. And then, like I said, if something was playing, like, you would see these speakers would be actually like lighting up. Let's check the comments to see on my end. Did you ever add that oral voice of God? So yeah, I did. Let me see. Turn-off only shows up front in design. Okay, so that's what I was thinking, because I'm like, it shows all the other speakers. But so did you add the voice of God? So yeah, if we go to, let me see. So if I go over to my presets here, so right now this is my main preset. If I go over to RO3D, it should switch. So then let me go back over here. So what I did was, and I talked about this in the first video that I did, or first or second video, I don't remember. What I did was, I was like, okay, I have the 2 center speakers, 2 center height channels. How can I get those to act as RO3D? I haven't played any content yet because I just haven't had the time to. But what I did was, I was like, okay, I want to select a layout. So I went to Oral 3D. I think I did a 9.1. So then basically what I did was, I was like, let me see, what is the voice of God called? I think it's just called like top T. Let me see. RO3D. There it is. So this speaker right here. So yeah, so that one is top. So what I did was, I went over to an Atmos, my layout, so it would be a 7.1.4. And then obviously, you know, I added the 2 speakers. I added the additional 2 height channels. And then I basically told the turn off that, so what's cool about that is you can change how the speakers act depending on, hopefully you can see my mouse. You can change your speaker layout or your speakers depending on the layout. So whenever there's RO3D content coming in, I can tell it, hey, whenever there's RO3D content, I want the left speaker to be X, Y, or Z. So basically what I did was, let me go back here. So let me make sure that this is right. So what I did was, so these are the top 1 and top 2. These are actually my middle height channels. So I told them, whenever it's, you know, RO3D content, I want these to be tops. And again, I don't know if that's right. I don't know if it's going to work. I haven't actually had a chance to test it, but that's what I did. So I think someone mentioned in the comments that they had the training for level 1 training for turn off, and I may still try to get that. And they said that, you know, I'll have to go back and read the comments, but basically they were saying that that's not right, that I need to do a specific RO3D layout and then configure it. But I'll have to get with Trino on that. But that I'm still going to test it like that just to see. But yeah, so the setup would be, I have my 7 speakers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have the 2 front, 2 rear, and then the voice of God would be the 2 in the middle. So, but I really, this is one thing that I really like is that, like, let's say you design your room for Atmos layout or a Aura 3D layout or a DTSX layout. You're not confined to that layout. If you want to listen to other content, you can actually go in here and say, hey, even though I'm on an Atmos layout, whenever the content is Atmos, or whenever the content is Aura 3D, then you can change your speakers to act a certain way depending on that content. So you don't necessarily have to have an Aura 3D setup. You can go in there and customize it however you want. And they give you the options for Atmos, Dolby, Aura 3D, DTSX, and DTS. So that's really cool. And then for bass management, so I just filmed a video talking about this. So I'm not going to do a deep dive here because I've already made a video on it. Hopefully it'll come out tomorrow. But this is cool here. You've got bass management. You've got like a quick setup. You've got an individual setup where you can go in here and you can individually, change stuff. I've got some, I'll talk about this, when the video posts. But yeah, it's really cool. And then if I go back to, so if you go to the settings, and I don't know if that, I'm going to have to share that. Give me 1 second. Let's see, stop screen, present. Okay, so there is a VNC, and I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to confuse anybody, but this is basically like a more advanced tab on the turn-off that you can go into and change stuff. What I want to show you is the graphs. So let me see here. Oops, what did I do? I need to go back to my profile. Hopefully that changes. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so after you run calibration on the turn-off, you can go in here and you can see all of your speakers. So I'm going to select all of them. So these are all of my speakers, including the subs. So over here to the left, you'll see this is how the speakers measured before and then after, and then you'll see the filters that the turn-off applied. And then I can make this bigger or not. But what I've been doing is I've just been going to like one speaker. So let me unselect all of these. And this will show you, and I talk about this in a video. So let's say I want to see how my center channel measured. Actually, no, let me go to the top left, top front. So what I did was I got with Trinov, had a meeting with them because I was like, hey, I ran calibration, everything. I want to make sure before I start reviewing this, is there any tips or anything? Is there anything that you would suggest? And so he looked at everything. He was like, oh no, everything looks good. The Trinov set the crossovers at 80 hertz pretty much for all of the bed layer speakers, and then actually for the height channels as well. But what he suggested, he was like, hey, why don't you go look at how your speakers measured, at least for the heights, because I was just playing around with it. Like I think my height speakers go down to 76 hertz. And so I just set the crossover at 75 for the heights. I was just playing around with it. I wasn't going to leave it like that. But he was like, for the height channels, obviously, like they're not the best at producing lower frequencies. So he's like, why don't you go over to the optimizer graphs and see how your speaker measured, see where it rolled off at, the natural roll off, and then I would set it to that. So for the height channels, this is my left top front. It rolled off at 100. And when I go to Arendal's website and look at the graph, it rolls off at 100. So that's 100% accurate. So what I did was I changed the crossover from 85 hertz to 100 hertz. And then, basically I sent everything 100 hertz below to my sub. But I also did something else that's really cool with that I'll talk about in the video when that video posts. But this is a super useful tool because you can like super fine tune your system And it's cool that they give you these tools and these graphs so where you can say, okay, my speaker, rolled off at 100 hertz before, and then, you can see what the turn off did. It, basically flattened it after it measured it, and then it applied some filters here, and it basically, at 100 hertz, it did some other stuff. So super useful tool. Again, you can select, as many speakers as you want to see what everything did, how it measured before. So this is what it's going to look like when you first go over to this tab. It's going to have all your speakers. But that's pretty cool. I mean, look at that. Like the before and then the after, and then you can see the, the filters that it has applied. So optimizer settings, let me see, processor. So I think here he was saying you can go in here and like individually set the volume and stuff. Again, there's a bunch of stuff in here that I haven't even scratched the surface. And he was like, we can get together again in the future and we can, deep dive in some of this stuff. But this is the basic stuff that I was able to figure, most of it I was able to figure out by myself. And then, I hopped on a call with them last week and, had him give me some tips and stuff. So really cool, really useful. But yeah, let me see here. Let's check the comments. Wade says, thank you, my friend. Have to bounce for a meeting. I'll watch your journey tonight in an hour. I'll try that Voice of God config tonight on mine to see how it works. Good night. Appreciate it, man. So yeah, that's the turn off. So I'm really enjoying that. It's like I said, I've heard it many times at shows. I've heard it at people's. Let me see. Have I heard it in someone's home yet? I think so. I think there was one in Dallas. I'm trying to think. I think he had a turn off. I can't remember now. But I've heard it before at numerous shows, and to be actually have one in my system and get a chance to play around with it, share some stuff with you guys has been really cool. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Let's see. Let's talk about the Mad VR. So I got the Mad VR MV Core. I'm super excited about that. And paired up with the QB1000, it's going to be really, really nice. I know people, poo-poo on EPSON and the 4K eShift, and it's not native, but I've seen a lot of projectors. I've seen JVC, I've seen the Sony, I've seen all the top of the line stuff. I've seen JVC, Sony, EPSON, I've seen Barco, I've seen Christie's, I like top of the line stuff. And obviously, yeah, EPSON, they're not going to have the best black levels like JVC. They're not going to be as sharp as the Sony. But for the price and what you get with these newer models, so I have the QB1000. I upgraded from the LS12000, which I enjoyed. I now have the QB1000, which has, I want to say 300 or 400 more lumens than the 12,000. And then you get dynamic tone mapping. But, EPSON's not, this is their first foray into dynamic tone mapping. So, they're not the best at dynamic tone mapping, but now that I have the Mad VR MV Core, it's going to really take the QB1000 to the next level. And I've seen that pairing before at, I think it was Cydia or M-Wave. I can't remember. But, now I have one. So that's really cool. I just hooked it up, a couple days ago? Sunday, maybe? I think it was Sunday or Monday I hooked it up. Literally haven't even had time. I just hooked it up, hooked up all my inputs, and I got to go into my Harmony app and configure it so that when it turns on, everything else will turn on. So I literally haven't watched anything since I've hooked it up. I may watch some stuff tonight. Super excited about that. That's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to being able to make some content with that. I'll do a proper review on that. And then I still have to review the EPSON QB1000, which I was waiting because I really wanted to get the EPSON QB1000 calibrated before I did a review. But then when I found out, that I was going to be getting the Mad VR, I decided to just wait. I was like, I'll just do a review of that, probably together. It'd probably be easier than trying to do them separately. But I'm like, that makes more sense because even though it's not, calibrated, the Mad VR is going to handle all that stuff. So it'll be better for me to just review it with that. So, yep, that's in the house. Let's see, Mag Theatron. So I did the 21-inch sub review. I'll be working on the two Hammer 15s that I have soon. Maybe a couple more weeks probably before I get that, because I have to, go through demos and see how that sounds. But I'm enjoying the system. It's I can't believe I have some of the gear that I have that I never thought it would ever be possible in my life to have. And yeah, it's pretty much all of you guys that are, that watch the videos, watch the channel. If it wasn't for you guys supporting me and, pushing me, I won't say pushing me, but like, I watch other content creators, some of my favorite content creators, and then other stuff that's outside of home theater. That's what's really pushed me to make, hopefully make better content, better production value, be more consistent with the videos. And I feel like I have been for a while now. I pretty much know what I need to do, what my settings, my lighting and all that stuff needs to be. But yeah, I'm only here because of you guys. You guys watch the videos, you guys like the videos, you guys comment, you guys subscribe. So thank you guys, man, because this is a journey that I never even thought of and never even thought was possible with YouTube. Like, YouTube's really the only reason why I am in the position that I am now, to be able to review this stuff and get stuff in and, watch it. So I greatly appreciate you guys. Let's see, we have a comment. You're in the big leagues. I don't know about that, man. I doubt that. I'm still at what? 11,600 subscribers. I don't consider that a big lead. When I hit 100,000, then maybe. But even that's a feat by itself. I'm grateful to be where I'm at. Obviously, I would like to be at a higher count by now, but some of that's on me. I'm not posting. I'm pretty much posting like one video a week. I know I'm not gonna really grow that fast doing that, but man, there's so much other stuff that I have. Like, this isn't my main job. I'm not Shane Lee or, Youth Man, where like I'm relying on YouTube to pay my bills. So, those guys will put out 2-3 videos out in a week or whatever. But yeah, obviously I have a day job at 7 to 4, and then I have other stuff. I'm doing this, constantly doing, other stuff that I need to do, shopping. So I'm actually going to do that once I get off here. I'm not going to be on probably too much longer. But, it's been 2 months since I did a live stream. I was like, man, I need to hop on a live stream and just, kind of update you guys and talk about some of the stuff that I've been doing. But yeah. What's up, Taylor? So yeah, that's what's been going on, man. Just been, got a bunch of stuff that I need to shoot and film and edit and script and more filming and stuff like that, and then still trying to enjoy my system. So that's one thing I'm kind of not necessarily prioritizing, but I'm like, my home theater is usually always just in shambles because I'm filming in there. I've got gear in there that I'm moving around. I'm trying to film and I'm trying to set up lights, and I'm just like, I go in there 90%, 95% of the time, and I just look and I'm just like, it's annoying because there's stuff everywhere. But hey, can't complain too much because, like I said, I'm in a pretty nice position with some of the stuff that I have. But I am trying to prioritize that a little bit more, try to keep it clean regularly, and like once I finish filming, take the stuff out and just enjoy the stuff that I have, and not just review it and just go through the motions. Oh, okay, let me review this let me look at these demos so that I can make a video. That's part of it, and I still enjoy that. But there's sometimes where I'm like, I just don't feel like filming. I don't feel like doing anything today. Like, I just want to go into my theater and watch some stuff. So, been watching some stuff and catching up on shows. And right now, it's kind of been a lull with movies. I haven't really bought any movies on Kaleidescape or 4K just because there's nothing really coming out. But once summer starts and those big name movies come out, Superman, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four. We've got Avatar at the end of the year. I mean, I'm still waiting for Captain America to come out. Again, I'm not too excited about them. I'm not excited about the movie at all, but I'm hoping they at least do the audio better on this one. I didn't buy Lion King. I did watch it in the theaters, but I know Shane reviewed it, and he said it was actually like really really good, the audio and the Atmos and stuff. I was like, wow, that's surprising because Disney usually drops the ball on that. Like their mixes have just been bad, not dynamic at all. So I'm hoping they get it right with this one, especially with Hulk. Like Hulk running around, jumping around, destroying stuff. Like the audio better be good on that. It better be immersive. Better be dynamic. But yeah, let me see. What else do I have to talk about? Oh yeah, so Mac Theatron. So I still got to do the review for the 15-inch subwoofers. But man, that's about it. Like I said, today is going to be pretty short and sweet. I gotta go get some groceries. Gotta basically go bankrupt shopping for groceries. This has gotten ridiculous, man. Like, I'm sure it's probably the same for you guys out there too. But yeah, man, I super appreciate you guys continuing to support the channel. Hopefully I'll get back to, my once a month regular live streams. And yeah, just keep watching the channel, man, because I got a bunch of stuff in the pipelines, a bunch of stuff in the pipelines, a bunch of videos that I need to get working on. And it's probably going to be one video a week for a good while, just because things have gotten so busy. And then if I'm able to get a second video out during the week, fine. I like to try to keep it to 2 a week, just for the YouTube algorithm and growth. It's usually better if you do at least two videos a week, but it's just so hectic nowadays. But yeah, I know this live stream wasn't too exciting. I just wanted to catch you guys up, and I'm probably going to end it here. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned in the future for some cool content. Appreciate you guys watching.